Hi again. I know what are you probably thinking. This guy made two videos, maybe three, maybe more, in just one day. Yeah, it's a rainy Tuesday here in New York City. It's a very big storm and it's affecting horribly the internet, the Wi-Fi. So for that reason, I can't work too much. So I'm here with the computer. And I has having many discussions about many topics lastly, especially this weekend. This last weekend was uh, very hard in level of conversations, and mm, my mind has been uh, overthinking a lot about many topics that is better put. Sorry, I need to do this. Yeah, I'm sorry. I need to do this. It's a rainy day, so probably I'm catching a cold. Probably is that. Um, is many times we have thoughts that we want to write and share, but not every time is so adequate because I think that the difference is when topics are a little personal, it's better if you share them in audio or video because writing a book implies that a lot of edition will be there, a lot of people will put their hands in there, and the end of the result will be so honest, so personal or intimate. So probably for that reason it's better write in this way or share in this way. Um, yeah, you know that I really love city stories. Um, because I lived so many experiences that I really enjoy share this with people. Um, I was in Amazon. I don't remember the city. I think that was Black River, Rio Negro. Korakure. I'm not really sure where, in which part this was. Uh, because I traveled too much around the place, so uh, for me was common. I'm going to sleep tonight in the home of my auntie or my other auntie because I have a lot of aunts, or just in home or in home of someone else. I was traveling a lot around the Amazonas, and this happens. This is totally true, and this is one of the maybe it's one of the reasons why I am in the way who I am. Usually, we receive lots, literally lots of tourists from different parts of the world, and I remember many of them. I forget many others. I remember this day we were in this. It's some kind of Peruvian market, super nice. It's a very nice kind of plaza, very high in the place between the cities. And this market is full of people from Peru, from Bolivia, from Guatemala. These people come and they sell their stuff in there, trivial stuff, um, tribal tribal stuff, clothes, food, toys, art, things representative of the different cultures. And many times were people from different parts of the world, tourists buying stuff, taking a shower in the river, recording something for a documentary or taking pictures and everything else. I remember this person from Argentina. She was some kind of Argentinian personality. Uh, I think that was blonde, was very tall. She was tall, very tall, skinny, nice, very diplomatic, very well dressed, and she was writing some kind of article about other cultures. This kind of thing that millionaire people usually does to look more humble. Oh, I'm so intrigued about subculture, how they call them. Super offensive. And she was writing this article, but she was very um, super diplomatic, very distant from the people. She was like, "Oh, come here, let me hold you, picture, and go away." She was that kind of person. Um, she was surrounded for a lot of people out there, assistants and the cameraman and other people. And she was talking with uh, the sellers in the market about magic, about witchcraft or brujeria, the term that you prefer to use. I don't fight about this. And those fights are very low to me. Not really. I really don't have time to fight that. Linguistic accuracy. And she was doing questions about it. She was recording what people say in perfectly Spanish to use all of this material in her TV show for free. After some time, this personality, she started writing books too. She has a show that I remember that I had the opportunity to see for cable, TV cable. I don't know if any of you remember that. That's how old I am. And they talk about astrology, they talk about pyramidology, they talk about Kabbalah, they talk about ghosts, they talk about angels. They have different episodes of different topics related with the esoteric field every week. This person literally come, sleep in the hotel, stay in Amazonas for like 3 weeks. She come to the market, the assistants bring the food to her, she make questions, she write down, and I remember this, she says in the place in front of me every time that people ask to her over and over, it's my first time here in Amazonas. And she was totally honest on that. That TV show comes like 6, 7 months later, maybe a little more, maybe almost a year, not just a year because I remember the season. And I remember she says in her biography, oh yes, when I was living in the Amazonas for so many years, yes, I'm catching a cold, I'm pretty sure. And this woman was, I live in the Amazonas. And it was like, that's not true. She become author, sorry, again. I could make an edition of this, but I'm human, so why I'm going to edit this? It's a human person having a cold. Um, they say that it will be rainy on Monday and Tuesday. Monday no was rain, but today is rain all day, at least all the morning. And she say, "Oh, I live in Amazonas. I practice witchcraft with the brujas and the psychics in there and all of that stuff." And I wasn't just watching the TV show. I was in that moment like 15, 40, 14. Um, this was really my face. It was just like, mm-hmm. This person write books, and in every book she says all their experience in Amazonas, the things that she does in the night. That was totally untrue. This person literally never was there in any night that I was present. And I am very well connected with my people in different parts of the cities, in different areas. Um, I'm, I am in some way very well connected with the web. Right? And when you are working in Amazonas, I mean, when you know the witches, the ayahuasqueros, the curanderos, when you meet the group, mostly you know everybody, and everybody knows you, and the gossips run very fast, even without internet. The next day I go to the market and I remember everybody was talking about it, but she never was here again. And they were talking with everyone, talking for fun. And yeah, she never was present in the night. She was always in the hotel. She just asked what things we do in the night, in the rituals and stuff. But she never was present because she was so tired. But because she's a personality, she has a platform. When she talk on TV, people really believe it. And she sent these books in Spanish about magic and about witchcraft and divination and astrology. And they was just like, all of that is a lie. Many times, reading books, I find these amazingly exquisite jokes. The witches in Amazonas do this in this way. The witches in South America practice this craft in that way. Why you say witches, not brujos, and why you say South American don't be specific about the country? When I put in my books, in my own books, personally my books, I respond for my books, I don't respond for other authors. When I put in my books, mm, the oral folklore says this in Venezuela is because I come from there. I can quote the books for you if you really want, but sadly, um, sadly for other people, not for me. I really enjoy being me. Sadly for other people, we live in a society where now witches are a kind of people. We always are talking about the witches of Salem, who were women who most of the time they don't have the rights to read books. They just can read the Bible. We always talk about the black people in New Orleans creating voodoo with other people. We talk about the slaves creating Brazilian voodoo from where comes Umbanda, Candomblé, Santeria, Lucumi, Paloma Yombe, and all of these Afro-Caribbean religions. But now we are very academic now. If you don't read the books, write for some white anthropologist, you're not a witch. That's the standard that we have now. We refer to those witches who politically create all of this, um, put a lot of strength and the structure on this. What? No, you're not academic. You're not part of the clan, correct? That's super weird. And most of the time when I read these books, I find those very intricately things about culture, people talking to you about things that they really don't know. It's like every time that I read these tweets or posts about how bad or how good is ayahuasca for you and if you should try it or not, you try it? No, I never tried, but I read so. Shut up. Give opinions to yourself, don't give opinions to other people. Now I see people who is mostly white. I'm not trying to be racist, but I I see this on my timeline 2 weeks ago. This person who is a white persona, she admit and never travels out of USA. She take a classes for 6 months about South American culture in some kind of private school in Miami or in Florida, and now she offered classes in cacao ceremony and South American spirituality after 6 months of classes, and it was like, wow, what people can do for money. And many times when you find these books, this is the thing about the books. Many times you will find lots of mistakes made up for people because they are trying to feel validated for the reader, so they feel like they need to feel admired because if they don't feel admired, people don't go to continue buying their books. They need to hypnotize you, they need to catch you, they need to make you love them. So they sign these little white lies that many times I really realize about other cultures and history. People who say to you, when I was living in Amazonas, you never live in Amazonas. We have in Venezuela this very popular astrologer, super popular, millions of followers, write books, magazines, stuff. He's Venezuelan. He take some classes of feng shui stuff. He traveled to, I don't remember if it was Japan or China or Taiwan, I don't remember. He traveled to there, living there for 6 months, and I was following this person on social media. I read his magazine. I never buy his books, but I read the magazines because he always invited other astrologers to collaborate with him. And always in the magazines, you follow the evolution of this person. And while Mortain was writing, this person sound more professional, more deep in astrology. That was interesting. But the biography was changing all the time. The first biography says when has the opportunity to travel to Japan for 6 months after takes this course of 6 months on Feng Shui in this academy in Colombia. Okay. Next biographies, he was saying he take classes of Feng Shui directly in Japan with Japanese teachers. And I was like, he taught Japanese? Because I remember this interview where he says that he never learned Japanese. Because one of these TV astrologer personalities that you see every morning in TV shows reading tarot cards and stuff, I don't like this person, but I really love this person because she said that he was very charismatic. And you need to learn from him because he's super charismatic, Elohim. And I was like, no, I don't like him. No, please, no, not another episode, no. And we see this every morning. And then, I don't know, by the magazines, we read them. I read a lot about it because I like the parts about astrology. I love astrology. And then biographies started changing again. And now he was starting to say, no, when I live in Japan for almost 3 years, I don't remember, I was like, you have been from Monday to Friday every week in this TV show for the last, 5 4 years. In which moment you traveled to Japan before this? But you never say that. When I come to the United States, the biography of this person totally changed, and now I live in Japan for 6 years and I learned French in there with Japanese teachers, and I was like, wow, how much stuff you can make up just to feel validated for people, just to feel admired. Because they need new followers, so they are trying to impress people. And this is like if I come to you saying that I learned voodoo in New Orleans. For this moment, we are in October 26th of 2021. Me, Elohim, I never was in New Orleans. Not yet, not for this day. Maybe in the future I can go take some classes, and if that happens, because I will love the idea, I will say to you, I take some classes in New Orleans about voodoo. I am going to say to you that I live 10 years in New Orleans. I am going to say that. I will, I would love to change some things from my past and don't say that I was in a military school, because it was 4 years of my life that I literally take to garbage. I was going there against my will. I totally confused here, and I say this many times before. I was physically, mentally, emotionally abused over and over and over and over and over and over and over, and so many overs in there for 4 years. I would like to avoid that, but people will find it because it's some pictures of me with the uniform. The last years I served for the nation. I am practically what you call here a veteran, but a very young veteran, because I said, but just was 2 years. And I would like to dismiss all that part of my past, but it's my past. I don't go to dismiss that. I don't go to say that I was taking classes of European culture in Italy. I don't go to say that because I never was in Italy. But I understand that people want to impress you. I understand that because I studied marketing in the college, and I know how many people can exaggerate many times biography and data about themselves to feel validated. And many authors, not just in witchcraft, in all the other fields, but especially in witchcraft, you feel that many times authors need to find some validation and they exaggerate this biography. So they're starting to say to you that they travel around the world, that they learn shamanism directly in Siberia, that they learn healing in Ecuador, that they learn how to prepare the ayahuasca in Peru, that they learn voodoo in New Orleans, that they learn some kind of magic in Salem. I say some kind of magic because I don't know Salem, so I really don't know what kind of magic people do in Salem. People will say to you that they learn to be psychic taking classes from Walter Mercado. People will say that kind of things. People will say all kind of crap. Believe me, I have the opportunity to meet so many people here, especially in New York. I have the sad opportunity to meet many from artists that first I was impressed for them, and then I started to see these people often, and they noted some things on them, and I was like, wow, these people are really con artists, and now these people is doing stuff, and I don't want to talk about it, but I see. So if that is happening here in front of everybody, and everybody is staying silent like me, probably this is happening around the whole country and in the whole community and probably around the world. So we are in a society full of liars. I remember this person, this author. Usually, I have the opportunity to make many endorsements for books. I enjoy that because I like to learn from different people. So one of the things that I approach or take for sure when I receive the opportunity to make endorsement is I like the topic of the book because many times people offer me endorsements about books that I'm not really interested. And so I mean, a book on Santeria written for a person who is not initiated to the topic and never traveled to Latin America. This person don't know the language, and if you are initiating Lukumi, you need to learn the language because the rituals are made in that language. You can translate the rituals. You need to learn Yoruba, you need to learn all the traditions of Lukumi, and you use and chant all of these rituals in the original language. You can translate that to your language just because you are you. To the Orishas, they don't care who are you. I have 30 years practicing this. I have been a Orisha for the last millennia, so shut up your mouth. When people offer me for endorsement, I feel like I don't want it, just dismiss. But many times people offer me endorsement about books that I'm really passionate to learn, about topics that I really like to learn. I feel sad when people don't offer me to do the endorsement for a book that I really want to learn because I'm like, oh, I want to learn about that, and they are writing about that, so I need to wait 9 months that the book come out to read it. I want to read it now, so when they give me the opportunity to do the endorsement, I can sit down to read the book. And I am a fast reader, so every time that I do endorsement, I try to read the book at least 2 times because that's how much passionate I am about books. I really enjoy books so much. That's one of the reasons why it takes so much time to write because I'm very busy reading other stuff. And many times people offer me very good stuff to read like that. And you see these authors, they exaggerate many times stuff. Not at least in the books that I endorse because many times this happens two times. I really question the books when they sent to me and they was like, who's this author? And when I read the topic, I was like, wow, this person really knows. Or they put some kind of signs in there that you're like, wow, this person really knows what he's trying to do, don't reveal the secret, but this person knows what he's saying about this tradition because I am in the same tradition and I know what he or she is saying, so I find something there. And that's something that really precious a lot. Uh, that's phenomenal. But many times you find things in the books that are literally lies, or how Americans say crap, many times. And it's super interesting how people buy this, and these people make a whole career based on these lies. Oh, I take this workshop of 3 days in totally online about the history of Kimbanda or Umbanda. So yeah, Kimbanda Umbanda is not the same thing. And I take these online classes of 3 days, 3 hours a day for 3 days. So from this person who never was in Brazil or Venezuela or Colombia, or a person that just was in North America. So now I am validated to write about that. No, you are not initiated. You don't talk the language. Um, what made you believe that you are really enough to write this? I'm not saying that you are not enough like a person, but maybe your acknowledgement like person on this path is not enough to write a book or offer classes. Funny thing here, for example, I one of my personal dreams from the moment I start studying dosing, because I put in all my biographies, I am a doser, a radiesthetist, a Sauri, how do you prefer to call it? One of my personal goals in life is write one day a book about this. And it's one of the fields in which I have more experience, more more than 20 years. It's not because I bought and read a bunch of books, not for that, because it's more the practice that I have in the field than the books that I read about it. I practice using different kind of pendulums and different arts of radiesthesia for so many years. Actually, before to meet my partner, that was one of the topics that I had in my mind all the time. And when I meet him, he was talking to me. Oh, I have this pendulum. I don't know how to use it. Maybe you can teach me and teach him. And also, I bring to him a very big pile of books in Spanish, obviously. I think that was one was in Portuguese to him, and they say all of these books are very good. Don't buy those in the market because I made some kind of I accurate this. I know that this works, and some of them are not really good. So these books are very good for you, and I teach him many things. I continue practicing radiesthesia practically every week. It's weird when I say to you, I have to week without practice radiesthesia, but I feel competent to sit down in this moment of my life, so advanced in my 30s, to sit down and write a book on radiesthesia. I don't feel yet enough deep or professional because every time that I practice, I continue feeling that there's something more in there. So I take notes, I practice the next week, and oh, I just discovered this. So let me go deep the next week, and the next week, and I has been discovering so many things in the field of radiesthesia for the last 3 years in the United States. Things that I don't have the opportunity, I didn't have the opportunity to learn before in my country for many reasons. Um, so, but I feel like I have enough knowledge and experience. I have enough knowledge or experience about this field, like to sit down to write a book. I don't think so. I'm not prepared for that, and I have more than 20 years of experience in this field, but it's not enough for me in this moment. So I'm not questioning when people do that, because maybe you learned witchcraft 5 years ago and you starting a journal with your own spell word and the results of your spell word, and you decide to write a book about it, and that's pretty cool because it's very personal and it's very you. But you're writing about the parts of witchcraft that you practice from your own perspective. You're not writing about something that you really don't know. That's super interesting for me, because I find these authors. The bad things about books is that people forget that these books are written for a publisher that is trying to sell you the book, for an author that most of the time is just behind your money, give me your money, giving your money, buy my books. And because many of these authors, they really depend. Most of the authors I think that has a career, but other authors really depend of the things that they sell to you. They sell oil, they sell candles, and so in the books, many times they need to exaggerate a little bit, and or try to make it feel more passionate. So that made me question some things, because I have the mental peace that because I don't depend of my books, I really don't question if what people say to me about it, because I come from another place. But these authors, they are trying so hard to make a career on this that they don't have fear to exaggerate or lie to you about things. I'm not saying everyone, but I'm saying many. And so books many times have mistakes. When I see, for example, an European author or an Indian author, for example, or let me put this, I want something very away. You read this book from a Japanese author, and the Japanese author is saying to you, this crystal comes from Venezuela, and in Venezuela, traditionally people use this crystal for, and we are like, we are not, and actually I am very inside of each esoteric and store in my country. I buy items in practically all of them, and I never see that crystal here, because that author reading another book that mineral, that is not a crystal, it's a mineral, is imported from Venezuela. That person actually take that information from another book on crystals and minerals and rocks, written originally in Portuguese for a Brazilian author. And what he's saying is this mineral is imported from Brazil, not from Venezuela, but Brazil is the country that is next. And the publisher, to avoid racism, because some people don't like black people because they are stupid, say, oh, Brazilian is people of color, so we go to change this perspective to say that, the mineral don't come from Brazil, come from Venezuela, that is literally the neighbor, the country neighbor, because we are Venezuela, Colombia, Brazil, Amazonas in the middle. And people will take this mineral, we just need to say that come from South America, that come from Venezuela, the white people, not the people of color, which is super offensive, it's not accurate, it's disrespectful, it's horrible, and you are doing all of these lies that someone else is taking, and someone else is taking, and someone else is taking, and in the end, you have people saying, I reading this author book that this crystal that come from Venezuela is super good. Elohim, what do you think about that? I'm like, what is that? You know what I mean? And that happens many times. One of the most interesting things about books on witchcraft is people always is, I don't have, well, I have a lot of issues with old books because many reasons. I prefer modern books because they are giving you a more accurate modern perspective about how witchcraft is treated socially, publicly. Many old books are very good, but remember those books is similar to when we talk about the Bible. It's a book written for this kind of people, for that kind of people in that age. And the world has changed so much. And when we talk about this book from witchcraft, most of these books, remember, was most of the time white privileged people who has not just a very good job, a very nice fortune, a very nice home, so they have all their weekends to sit down to write with their assistant, and or they can pass 6 months of free writing a book about these topics. Like I say this question before in one word, some people was super uncomfortable, but it's so nice make people uncomfortable. I say, how many books on traditional witchcraft before 90s, written for women? Everybody raise their hand. Who are not Indian or North American, except if they are black women from New Orleans. And people were like, oh, how many books on Afro-Caribbean tradition you read from people who is actually Afro-Caribbean, people of color or Latin people? 2 or 3. And because we are in a society where now people take this test of blood and they say, I have a 2% of ancestry, and that 2% of ancestry is Romani ancestry, so now I am practically a gypsy. I can say gypsy because I am gypsy. You can do it. So, but I can write a book about it because that 2% of my blood is. You are not. It's the same with these topics. You find all of these books that has a lot of influence from voodoo and hoodoo many times, and a lot of influence from folk magic, from this amazing Portuguese psychic. I forget his name in this moment. And all of this book literally copy that information, blended, and they say, and we promote that like the Bible, but it's not. It's just another book from a privileged person that probably has something to say, but not all those old books has really something to say. Many of those authors were very homophobic. If those authors were living now, they probably will reprove everything that we have in the witch community now that is trying to be so open. Most of those authors were very white. Half of those authors were very racist. But we continue selling those books because they are in some way the structure and the history that we can't avoid. We need to read them because it's important knew what was in the field of witchcraft in that moment. But now the field of witchcraft is entirely different. And because these new authors need to compete with those old authors, they need to try to enrich their life. So they say to you, when I was in Brazil and I had the opportunity to learn these authors who travel for vacation because they have the privilege to take vacation, and they travel to Italy or France and they stay there for 2 weeks, and they go to any shop store in there and take a picture with the owner, and they say, and they put in their books, for example, those months that I was in France, I visit this store every day and take classes directly from this owner that is a very well known French witch, and I learn this, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, wow, this author is so amazing. And it's crap. Sadly, it's crap. It's true. That is crap. That happens a lot of times because we pay more attention to what the author want to say than what is really saying. I am a privileged person that I want to show off to you that I can take vacations in Italy or France, and I just was there 2 or 3 days. I take a nice picture with the owner store, but I say to you that I take months of classes, and you believe it, and you buy the book. That happens a lot of times. One of the most hurtful things that someone says to me the last year was someone who say, you can be associated with this person because everybody will say that you're a friend of that person, and this is about perspective. People don't see reality, and for many times I recognize the level of immaturity in me. When that person says that to me, I was like, wow, it's true. It's a lot about expectation. It's about perception. It's not about reality. It's what people think about you. It's not what you are really doing. The fact that I most of the time sharing, for example, pictures on my Instagram, on Twitter about me in my home, people just think, oh, he's never doing witchcraft. Yes, I'm doing, but first, it's not your problem. Second, I don't need validation to do my craft. Third, it's not like I'm doing an altar and oh, the altar, let me take a picture. I'm doing this ritual, let me take a picture. I don't do that. I take pictures when I say, oh, I just built this new altar in this corner. It's very nice with this idea. Let me share the picture to see if I inspire you to do something similar. Or maybe you respond with a different picture and tell me, Elohim, I tried that idea, but I didn't do well. It will be, wow, this is, we are interacting. This is super nice. But, it's not like you are being initiated in something. Oh, wait, I am being initiated. Let me take a moment to take a selfie with all the priests and priesthoods here, priests and priestesses, correct? And let me take a selfie of everyone here. Oh, I am being initiated. No, we don't do that because we are really deep in the craft. But sadly, we live in a world that, for true, is more about perception than about reality. That's super sad, but it's the truth. And many times these authors, they know that before me, and because they know that they live that, they play with your perception. They put the whole nice masquerade, very colorful, in front of you, and you believe it, you buy it, you promote it. You don't know the number of authors out there who are not really witches. They are just copy and pasting, doing a copy paste. You don't know the number of authors out there that actually are promoting material from ghostwriters. I know who they are, but sadly you not. So you need to pay more attention. Who is this person? This person really traveled to Russia. This person really travels to Canada. Okay, this person says that he was in Japanese for 6 years. Let me check if I find any interview of this person talking in Japanese. This person says, because now we are not in the 18th, that you just take the book and you read the biography and you need to believe it. Now we are in the age of social media, something that I do. I'm buying a book in the stores is, oh, is this author? Let me check who is this author. Don't have Instagram, don't have Twitter, don't have Facebook. The biography of the person says that this author has 120 years. Oh, let me check about this person. Apparently just have 56, 43, maybe less. Do you know what I mean? So it's very important. It's not just the background that you see in front of you, it's the background that you know about the person. I was having this very deep conversation with one of my friends this weekend, and it's amazing because all the conversation was chat. We were chatting. I was asking me something, and I was like, yeah. Oh no, this is. Oh well, this depends of. Oh yeah, really. And then I was like, wow, I need to put all of this information in something. So I asked to my friend, you think that I can use something of this information? I don't want to mention you. I don't go to. I said, did you want the credit? And he totally said, no, I don't want to be involved in this because I am a doctor, so I don't want the people mention me on this. But yeah, you can do it, and they will watch it. And they say, yes, thank you, because it's a very important topic. Because we were talking together about some authors and these typical, disgusting, superficial fights in the community and stuff, and we were talking about the background of people, and I said to my friend, because he knows the story, do you remember this author from Argentina that I always mentioned to you? And yes, I remember that. So go for the story, and people continue buying those books. Yes, and this person never was in there. But this person literally sit down, and I was there. I remember the 3 or 4 questions that she made to me. You do this, yeah. How you do it? Well, I can't tell you this, but I can tell you that, and I can show you this, but I can show you this process. This is permitted, so let me show you this. So this person just take that part and say, this is the whole process on this. I am an expert on this because I was in Amazonas for so much time. You not, you was there for 3 nights. I totally remember that, and I remember that she practically don't interact with anyone. And every time that I don't take a picture with her because that attitude, I mean, I see when my a familiar person from my family that I don't want to mention comes to her and offers her a hug. And she was like, yeah, hug me. She hugged her and immediately she see the cameraman like take the picture. She take the picture and started smiling, and so she just put away the person and bring someone else and another one and another one. In a moment she take off the jacket, she changed the t-shirt, put a hat, take more pictures to say that she was in there for more time, for more days. So she made the outfit change in front of us, and it was like, wow, that's so awful. And people believe all those lies because we don't know, because we didn't knew. But now we are in the age of social media, so you can verify the things that people say, because you can be very fortunate and work very hard and have the good fortune to be so smart that you can organize your schedule and travel around the world because you are super smart and you say, okay, I will take this weekend to travel there, that other weekend to travel there. But I don't know other people. I mean, I don't know how is your mind, but I can believe that you travel to a place that you has been all your life trying to travel and you don't take a picture of you in the place, at least to share in your WhatsApp or something with your friends and with your family and with your colleagues to say, I finally had this dream, and so let me show you. So you don't has any picture of there. So how I can prove that you was there? Because you are telling me that you live in there for so many years. That happens a lot. I come from the Afro-Caribbean community, and the problem that I see many times is people who is not in ECA, they comes to you and they say, I was in ECA in that place, but I separate a little bit of them, so I'm looking now for a new casa. Casa is the house where all the Santeros commute. Is every family has a little house, a little home, where you go there and you meet with other people and we made initiations in that place and blah blah blah. They say, "Oh, I'm separated that house from that house because uh, they talk too much, or they talk so much trash. I don't like them, blah blah blah. So I want to be involved with other people and you accept them, and you don't really know if they are really initiated, but they come totally dressed in white with necklaces. But I always have the good luck to have my mom very close, and my mom is the kind of people that is totally different from me. I I buy your lies. Maybe I doubt a little. In 1 or 2 weeks, I will be like, that could be true. But my mom is, oh, you're initiated. Where? When? With who? Oh, I don't know this person. Name me someone else. Oh, let me verify that she's that kind of people. So in our home house, casa, that never happens. Or with my padrino, that never happens. But that happens a lot of times. Many times you see people, I was initiated on this too. Really? And they are just trying to figure out the things that the things that you can say to them. That happens a lot. I come from there. And thanks to my origins, I'm not an oath breaker because that's the worst. But and I have been initiated so many times in so many things. But many times you find these people doing that kind of thing, so you need to try to verify the information and trying to make the correct questions, trying to make deep questions. Like I said one time before, you don't need all the books because now the market is so saturated and everybody's like trying to collect all the books. You don't need all the books. They are not Pokemon. You don't need to catch them all. But it's important that you have those books that help you to enrich your path, that help you to improve your tradition, that help you to raise yourself to another level, that help you to nurture yourself with acknowledgement of other people with different perspectives and points of view about your same tradition. That's very important, and it's important to have them for you. but at the same time it's important make the correct questions. With that, if I have any other productive conversation with my friend, I just go to steal his idea and share it with you. Please be kind, stay safe, stay well, be kind with everyone else, and just that for now. Uh, See you the weekend in Gather the Witches. Um, Keys for you. Put them wherever you want.